So today we are cooking a vegetarian Mexican lasagna. So we've got a few things to prep first, and then it's a case of whacking it all in a saucepan and heating it up and then layering it with fajita wraps. So we're going to grill our sweet potato and carrots first. Want these in quite small pieces when we cut it, just so that it cooks evenly in the oven. If they're too big, they'll cook, but they won't be soft. So we want nice small bits. We'll do this. So yeah, we've got carrots, sweet potato, then we're going to have some pepper in there and some sweet corn. Nice lot of veg, and then instead of meat that you'd have more of like a chili type thing or a burrito, we are going to have a mixture of beans, so high in protein, part of your 5 a day as well, so they're a good substitute for meat, but also to get the right amount of the 5 a day suggested fruit and veg in. So you can see I'm just putting them into nice little pieces there. Yeah, so just do the sweet potato. These can be slightly bigger than the carrots because it cooks a little bit quicker than the carrots. This mix is quite a versatile mix as well, because you can make this Mexican bean lasagna made from fajita wraps rather than pasta, or you can use it as a vegetarian chili that you can serve with rice or jacket potatoes, or you can make it into you could use the fajita wraps and make them into like burritos, so wrap the beans and everything and cheese on top into a wrap and eat it that way. So yeah, nice versatile one. And although this is the veg that I'm choosing, you can put whatever you like in really. So we've got some onion here to put in, a little bit of garlic if you want to. I've got a red pepper, but you can put any in. Beans wise, I always put kidney beans in, mixed beans and some cannellini beans, and then you can just choose the quantity and the amount of tins, and depending on the size of your family. So it's a really good one, and then everyone likes a bit of melted cheese, so it's good to get a bit of melted cheese on top. I've heated up some oil in this pan, and I'm going to add my onion to fry off now. So that's softening. I should have split it before I put it in. Never mind. Just to kind of sweat that off first. You can put your onion into smaller bits if you want, finely chopped into little cubes as well. And now we're going to add all of our beans. So that tin was a tin of mixed beans with a chilli sauce in it that's very mild. I'm just going to add a little bit of passata. That's going to start cooking. There we go. And then to it I'm going to add some mixed beans. This one's got some sweet corn in it. And some cannellini beans. Depending on the size of your family will depend how many tins of beans you put in. So this is going to be for 4 of us, for 4 adults. So I've used 3 tins of beans plus the veg. If you've got a bigger family, you can put 4 tins in, or small. This smaller family put 2 tins in. With this as well, I have tried it. You can cook it and then the following day reheat it in the microwave as well, and it's fine. So that's going to be simmering now. So I'm adding my sweet potato and my carrots. And then what I really want to do is just get that starting to warm through before we layer it. My oven's on at 170, can be 180 as well. So just pop that there. So yeah, just leave that there to cook. Add a little bit more passata and just gauge it. Sometimes you need a bit more. You don't want it too moist. But I only had 1 tin of beans in the sauce, whereas if you've got 3 tins of beans in the sauce, you might not need passata. So it's very variable depending on what you've got. You can put tinned lentils in this, tinned chickpeas, any kind of bean is really good. So that's there. So what we're going to do now is add our herbs and our spices. So I've got ground cumin. So I tend to go for more cumin and paprika and less chilli, just because I want the flavour, but I don't want too much spice. So I've got my paprika here. So sprinkle that all the way over. Everyone's taste is different, so just think about your family, especially because this is, I always call it carne, I know I've said that before, but cayenne pepper. And so you don't need too much because this is very hot kind of chilli flavouring. And then just give that a mix. It's starting to bubble as well, which is good. Whilst our mixed beans and veg are cooking over there, and it's just simmering on a very low temperature, I'm just going to get my fajita wraps ready. So we've called it a lasagna because it's layered, but we're not using pasta, we're using wraps just because it's a bit more, seems more appropriate for a Mexican dish. So with this, you need to make sure that your wraps fit in like lasagna sheets, okay? So I'm just going to cut the edge off there to make it go in straight and up there. And then trim the rest of them as well. So it doesn't matter if you're using a board and it gets a little bit of the tomato or whatever on it, because it's going in the dish, which is quite handy as well. So just cut the ends off. You can use them around the edge or you can eat them. And so that's that done. And then this one just needs to be cut into strips, quite thin strips, just to fill that gap at the very end. And just because of the size and shape of my dish, okay? So they're ready. Luckily here we've got a nice metal side, so I don't need to worry about putting a pan on it. But when you bring it over, or if you do it over there, just make sure you don't put it down on the work surface, that it might burn. And now we're going to add our final ingredients. So I've got a little bit of onion left here, which I haven't put in because the onion in there is going to become quite soft, and that's helping with the flavour when cooking it. This is a bit more for texture to get a bit more crunchiness. So just pop them in like this. I'm going to add our pepper. Any colour pepper is fine. I had a red one, so I used the red one. And then sweet corn as well. I'm not going to use this whole tin of sweet corn because it's quite a large one, but I'm going to use about half of it. Okay, just give that a stir. So I haven't kept them on the heat with that on it, so that they don't start to cook already, because it's going to go in the oven for about 40 minutes. So that will be plenty of time for the pepper to cook. We're going to add our mixed Mexican beans now into our dish. It needs to be an oven-proof dish. Get a mixture of all the different veg and flavours there, if you can. And then we're just going to layer our fajita wraps over the top like this. You might just need to fill in the gaps with your little bits like that. Okay, so it's going to look like that. And then we'll do the same again. If you aren't doing the dish like this and you're doing them as wraps, so you'll put it in and fold the wrap up and eat it straight away, because of the carrot and the sweet potato and everything, you do need to cook it for longer beforehand, or cook your carrot and sweet potato just in a pan of water before you add it to the mix, just because it won't be cooked otherwise. There we go. And so put our wraps in again. And okay. So then I'm going to get 3 layers in this. So I've done quite hefty layers. Here we go. Making sure you fill up all the gaps there. And spreading out, if you see you've got loads of sweet potato in one area, just take them and spread them a bit more, just to make it a bit more even. There we go. So this time around I'm going to put the 2 wraps this way, just to get a really good coverage there. And it's all laid up and ready to go, so we're just going to put the toppings on. So I've got a little bit of my passata left here that I'm just going to pop over the top like that, and just roll it around just to give the top layer a bit of sauce. You don't need loads on this top because there's a lot of sauce in it. And then either already grated cheese if that's what you've got, or grate your block of cheese, and we're going to sprinkle it on top. So here we go, so just a light sprinkling, you don't need loads. There we go, that's ready to go into the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. You can always check and see if the sweet potato is cooked in there and leave it a bit longer. And you're ready to go. If you've got any wraps left over once you've put your Mexican lasagna in the oven, any scraps from filling your dish or wraps left over, what you can do is make little triangles like so. Put them on a baking tray and literally put them in the oven for kind of 2 minutes, keep an eye on them, and they just make really nice toasted kind of tortillas to go with it, that's nice and crunchy. So that's something you can do. It's just any spares left over, you can use them up like that. There you go. But yeah, just 2 to 3 minutes, you don't need to turn them over or anything, no oil on the tray, and they will go in the oven.